Now, there are diversities of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are differences of administrations, but the same Lord. And there are diversities of operations, but it is the same God which worketh all in all. The way you say the all that exists within all is Allah. So we thank Allah for his coming and for his breathing into man of his inspiration, thus making us into living souls, as mentioned in the Holy Quran, and eventually into quickening spirits, as written in the Bible. On that wise, we in the Nation of Islam, who are resurrected from mental elevated in the glorious light of Islam that gives us life anew, acknowledge him and thank him for coming in the person of Master Al-Istighfar Muhammad, and for his raising and sending us the glorious Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in fulfillment of the revelations of both Bible and Holy Quran, which state that Al-Mahdi and Al-Masih, the Messiah, will be present in the judgment. We thank him also for returning as promised through his spirit of inspiration, our Ruh, the Holy Spirit of Truth, and Surah Muhammad the Select One, the Allah Master Jabin, by whom we stand before you this day. And we welcome all of our family to proudly keep God at the center of their efforts in whatever righteous way they have learned. In the Holy Quran, Surah 2, Ayat 62, it says, the true Jews, the true saints, and the true all receive their reward with their Lord. So one of the strict rules in the Black Unity Conference Universal is no spiritual gangbanging. As we know historically, spiritual gangbanging is only the tactic of El Shaitan to divide us. Once we get El Shaitan out of our ears and out of our mix, we will realize much of what we confuse as differences is only in the way of knowledge. So we don't hang our hats on what makes us different, yet embrace on what makes us the same. So let's get to the business at hand. Welcome to our weekly BUCU Community Zoom business meeting. As you know, BUCU stands for Black Unity Conference Universal. This is our weekly business meeting where we come together and share ideas, strategies, and steps towards actual business establishment in our communities. So today, we have the superstars of our community on the line, and we honor them for giving us their time today to share some steps that we can take to establish business for our family, community, and nation. One of the titles of our BUCU team organization is the Black Family Business Network, as we understand that all of God's creation should be recognized as one family, one community, and one nation. However, as we know, the devil and El Shaitan have been busy dividing people. So the Black Family Business Network is just one of the wings under the Black Unity Conference Universal to help our people establish business, specifically on how to get a business license, bonding and insurance, how to get a seller's permit, how to incorporate our ideas, how to get copyrights and trademarks, how to get government contracts, how to manufacture and market our ideas, and how to use networking to accelerate the promotion of our ideas. So without further ado, family, let's get to business at hand.
Welcome, family, back to our Jay's Temple of Islam. Back to our BUCU, Black Unity Conference Universal Jewel of Life discussion. We are so thankful to have our family here with us today. We have some great things that we want to discuss and talk about. But first, let's talk about the jewel of the month. This is the last week of April. So it is the last week in this cycle that we are going to specifically be discussing the jewel of peace, which is defined as the state of established existence in the atmosphere of the 12 jewels, emphasizing the essential power of harmony and balance in everything we do. And so we want to speak today about not only establishing that peace and what that means to each of us and how we strive to pass that on, especially to the youth, but also about what true peace is. This is a continued conversation about what is real peace. Is peace the absence of struggle? We know that it's not, but some people think that. So we want to discuss how can we share with people that peace is not the absence of struggle, and that we can establish peace here on earth as we live and as a community. But first, I want to get some reports from everyone about what you have been doing in the community, the impact that you are making or pray to make on the community, how that gives you peace, because the best work that we want to do. It's not only pleasing to Allah, but hopefully gives us peace and how you spread that to the community. So we see some of our beautiful members. Let's start with Answer Demise because I know that he probably has to get back into work. So Answer Demise, if you are available, if you can share with us how this week has been for you, some of your goals this week, some of your goals for the week coming up, and how everyone on the line can support you. We'll pass the line to Answer Demise.
So Jolly Who family?
Good job, Allahu, sir.
Yeah, y'all can support me. Let me get my Cash App up there. Let me see.
Yeah.
And be like that dude that was on the basketball game thing or something. He put up he wanted everybody to send him $1 for beer. And now he got like $1 million like a month later.
Oh,
Literally, he just put
wow.
his real Cash App on a card. Like you know how they hold up them cards in the
Mm-hmm.
background? And he just
Yeah.
held it up with his Cash App saying he was trying to get beer. And his food literally got $1 million.
Wow.
So, you know, I don't know. Maybe we could be asking for some beer and then we could just spend it on the community or something, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like we ask for stuff for the community. They don't want to hook us up. This fool's
Mm-hmm.
asked for beer and get $1 million. You just like, what? We'll be
The
like, I
world we
fell
live
down,
in.
broke my leg, I can't work. They be like, yeah, here's 3 cents. You know,
Yep.
we'll be like, I want to jump off a bridge and break my leg. They be like, ooh, let's send him 50,000. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we just in these times, and it's good though. It's good to be in these times because the more that we look at how much stuff is crazy and how stuff just look that way around you, and then we start
Yeah.
talking about having a peaceful place and a peaceful mind and a peaceful thoughts about not struggling through like all these particular little pains and woes that
Yeah.
everybody going through right now. When you got a team that you can count on and that you really think about, like, man, okay, might have to do this. Oh, we got a team. Might have to do that. Oh, we got a team. It's a whole peace of mind of that too, because there's a lot of people out here want to do things, but they struggle. You know. Uh-oh,
Yeah.
it's the echo. Oh, there we go. You know that have a they don't have a team. They don't even, have a spiritual understanding to be able to look and be on a team with God. So when you
Mm.
when you're not on God's team, you really in the struggle. So you kind of like feel alone and by yourself. And so we see that out in the world, and we try to
Yeah.
talk to a lot of our people like, look, you're not alone. Even
Yeah.
if you don't believe in this particular God, that particular God, you got to have a particular mindset that you here today, right? Well, something is keeping you here. Some kind of
Yeah.
energy is waking you up and moving you forward. And so, we just have to be grateful and thankful for these particular parts. We're working on the business, we are I don't even know what to say. I feel like I'm standing in the blocks. You know how they be waiting for the gun to go off, but you don't want to vote.
Yeah.
So we don't want to jump the gun, basically. So we are definitely learning patience.
Yeah.
Even if we thought we knew patience, we are learning a new branch of patience because um, you have to put patience on top of patience on top of patience when dealing with people who are, I won't say intentionally, trying to stop us from moving forward. But
Mm.
if it walk like a duck and it quack like a duck, it might be a duck. So
Yeah.
we won't even give them the power to really focus on it because we know that the creator run the show. And so that anything that they're being moved to do, the creator is moving them to do that. And so that's the part of that part. So the business is good. Um,
Okay.
we praying for that step so that we can all take the next steps of where we want to go. And we all set up for that particular part. Other than that, I talked to um, three of the brothers from the university. Um,
Okay.
and so the one brother, we'll get on with the circle of life about it because we want to be able to send these brothers some real, even if it's just a letter or something, we want to send them some kind of something to make sure that they know that we out here, even though they call,
Yeah.
they know we out here, but it's good when you can hold on to something. When
Yeah.
you can look at a piece of paper and go, oh, that's they out here, So we working on that, and I know that the family working so hard and putting real due diligence into getting all the stuff that needs to be prepared for the people. So,
Yeah.
and it's not just them, and we
True.
think about that too because it's not just them.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of family that's not just in the university, that's actually out here inside of the flames of the fires too, that
Yeah.
need this same knowledge and this same understanding. So we don't want to come out weak and unprepared and then come out where we don't got enough food to feed the masses when they ready to eat. So that's a
Yes.
part of dealing with BUCU. And BUCU is a very beautiful part of the world right now because it's good to be able to tell people about a family of Black people that come together, Black, brown, yellow people that come together and work together to strive for the better of our people without other interference. And so, and it's a big thing to be able to tell them that. And it's like, man, we got a group that don't be feuding over who got the best car, who got the best watch,
Yeah.
Right. Oh, she got curly hair, or her hair straight, or her hair long, or her hair short, or her nails long, he got a suit, he got these shoes, he got that. They get out of all that, to get out of that feuding. We not letting nobody come around. You know what he said about you? Nah, we don't do that. We bring that to the
Right.
table. And so we are in a very unique position for our people that it's not a test run. It's not a test run. So we know this is what they a prototype. It's more than it's a tester. This more like the prototype. So this is the type to show you that this actually can work and that it actually does work. So we
Yeah.
appreciate that, and we appreciate being here and everybody that get online, no matter what part of their story that they share with us, the inspiration that through their day. Some of the pitfalls that they go through because that helps inspire us to know that hey, real people get into real stuff and still
Right.
come to the meeting and still come together to work together, to build together, even though they're
That's
going
right.
through some real stuff. They
Mm-hmm.
got mama issues, daddy issues, family issues, health issues, car issues, house issues,
Yeah.
money issues, but they still come together to work for the betterment of our people. So that's real Godzilla right there. So,
Mm-hmm.
that's what it is. So yeah, Sajalahu.
Yes, sir. Sajalahu. Yes, good teaching. Yeah, I know those the bureaucracy of the country is systemically designed to make things difficult for our community specifically. They want to, delay, turn away in an effort for us to give up. But that's why we have a team and that's why we never give up because it's really important for us to be in all of these spaces to support one another, to provide jobs for each other, because that's one thing we do. A nation needs to have jobs for its people. And it'd be really difficult to ask people to not work for the white man, not spend all of their efforts building up a country that hates us, and you have no jobs to offer them. And so having the job and having companies is really, really important for our community. And we have to withstand the test of time with the bureaucracy that we have to go through in order to get our licensing, to get our registrations, and to do everything in the proper manner so that they then can't use the law to then come after us. So we know that as the security company and everything that we do moves forward, the success is going to be insurmountable. We won't be able to even count. We'll have so much for our people that it'll be almost overwhelming. But again, we have a team, and we're thankful for that team. And so thank you, Auntie Demise, for sharing. I see our sister Ada Brown on the line. Sister Ada, if you are available, if you can share with us who introduced you to BUCU, tell us a little bit about what you do in the community and how what you do affects the community. Our jewel for this month is peace. And so I'll just tell you quickly how we define peace. Peace is defined as the state of established existence in the atmosphere of the 12 jewels, emphasizing the essential power of harmony and balance in everything that we do. And so we understand that as a community, we need our basic needs met. We need food, clothing, and shelter, love, peace, and happiness. We need freedom, justice, and equality, and knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And so peace is the jewel we're speaking about today. So if you can share with us what you do and how that relates to peace, what peace do you get out of it, and how you can spread that to others, and how all of us can support you, we'll pass our sister Ada the line.
Hi, greetings, everyone. Um,
Greetings.
I'm a founder of a nonprofit. It is called Lady Echelon Project. Um, Also doing business as the Echelon Project. And what we do across the Bay Area is our programs are mainly towards workforce development for youth. Pretty much, we are trying to get our uh, Black children into biotech. Um,
Okay.
just this past Friday, the 24th, we uh, had an event at the Solano Community College where over 150 students were in attendance. And
Wow.
I would say out of that 150 students, we probably had about 70 of our own
Oh,
in
great.
that, and that was our second annual. So that was a definite good number for us for
Yeah.
our children to be in attendance. Um, we also had a parent bring her son from Richmond to this. So I just think as the time goes, and we are trying to have this as an annual event, and just really I guess we are trying to break the stigma where our children are saying, "Oh, we're not smart enough to be a scientist," but it just
Yeah.
doesn't stop there at being a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
The umbrella under biotech or technology, period, is so broad.
Yeah.
And I myself are even learning, different avenues, and I'm like, wow, I could do a certificate program for this, but it's to basically support young people in making lifelong career decisions that's going to sustain them.
Yeah.
Not just having, a $20 an hour job, because most of them
Mm-hmm.
were saying, oh, I'm trying to get a job at In and Out. Well, that's fine, but take some classes too.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but that's pretty much what our mission is. Um, and we would love any type of support, volunteer support, ideas. We welcome all of that, and as a community, um, we do want to partner with others and to just kind of make that bridge between these young excuse me, young adults making um, career decisions, whether they're
Yeah.
entrepreneur, whether it's going into a profession, by certificate, by diplomacy. It's definitely something that's needed, and that's where I
Yeah.
find my peace. My peace. I really uh, had peace after Friday. I just took 2 days just to thank God,
Yeah.
like that this was another successful event, and to also see the numbers of our children involved.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're
Oh, and
welcome.
I was invited by Imani Hanif.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds excellent. Thank you for joining us. That organization sounds so great. We always love when we meet organizations, one, that are involved in the unifying of the unifiers. That's our slogan. We unify the unifiers because we know that there are members and people in our community that have been working for years to do the work of liberating our people. And so we're always thankful when we meet new liberators and new unifiers. And the attention being placed on our children is so important, and to broaden their perspective. Sometimes, you know, you may not even want to go into tech, but just experiencing that as a viable opportunity for your life is really important because it broadens your perspective. When if you let the world tell our children, they only think that there's about 5 options for them. When there are far more than 5 options. You aren't stuck with being a musician. You're not stuck with being a athlete. You can literally do whatever you want, and then we can
Right.
show you all of those things, and you can pick. And that's just great. That's just great. And to see the impact of it, on the youth is really, really good. So we're so thankful to have you here. We are on the line every Tuesday. So anytime that you have anything going on, or if you have any time to spare to give us any updates, the link is pretty much always the same. And so you can always join.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. You're welcome. Yes, and to Demise.
So my question would be, what's your age and target range for the youth that you're looking for?
So, okay, with the workforce development workshops, well, programs that we have, we are focused more on the high school age, middle school age if they're ready for this. But we do have separate workshops where we teach etiquette and life skills to the younger generations.
Okay.
Okay, you have a website and all that. You can put it in our chat so we can get like your information.
Sure, I'll do that now.
Okay, yeah, that's good. So we would look forward to trying to get the word out, because we know a lot of little smart people that that be
Mm-hmm.
wanting to do stuff, and so we be always looking for stuff for them to do that's positive for them to be moving forward on, and maybe high
Yeah.
schoolers and junior high schoolers and stuff like that. So yeah, we can work on that. Answer Africa probably um, got like some youth too that we work with. I know she been
Mm-hmm.
super busy lately, so I don't want to be saying she got something she
I'm
can't
on
do.
here. I'm on here. Yeah, yeah. We right. Yeah, that's right. We just talking about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the youngsters. I just started creating a connection with the youngsters at the Safeway. They started selling candy that they was buying from the Safeway here and there. And I'm like, what y'all saving money for? And they was like, man, we just trying to do this. And they tell me. So we got a relationship. I got a number. I was trying to get them on today.
Okay.
But I don't know what they're doing, but we'll try to figure it out how we gonna get them online. I already told them, y'all don't have to stress about nothing. Everything y'all trying to do, they trying to do music, y'all. And I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
come on the line with us. That's what we do.
Absolutely.
You know? So yeah, we working.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, that's the beauty of us, like, learning about more organizations in our community, is that no matter what our youth want to do, we can point them in the direction of a program that, like Auntie Demise said, can take up some of that idle time and will teach
Mhm.
them some good important skills. So yeah, that's really, really great. That's really great. And so, yes, Sister Ada, if you could put your information and your social media and everything in the chat, and we'll follow you online. I think I found your Instagram actually. And
Okay.
so we'll go ahead and follow you online, and then continue to support the amazing work that you do, because we really love that. And then you said high school or middle school?
Well,
Okay.
with the workforce development, it's geared more to the high schoolers, and
Okay.
then we have our other workshops that is still pretty much we're gearing them to workforce as well, but we teach
Okay.
etiquette and life skills.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. And life skills are very, very important. We're seeing the results of so many young people not being given the tools needed to navigate life. and just
Right.
how what is the result of that. We can see it when they come up and they face rejection or disappointment, and just the large scale blowback that you get from it because they don't have the tools to deal with those things. So I really love any program like that that teaches them how to handle the goods and the so-called bads of life.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you, Sister Ada. That is excellent. Okay, everyone, Sister Ada's information is in chat, and any high schoolers that we know, we have another program that we can point them to. All right, so let's continue to get some more reports from our family on the line. I see Imani, since Imani invited our sister Ada on the line. Imani, if you could share with us how this week has been for you. I know you all have been very busy. If you can share with us all of your goals and milestones that you've reached or plan to reach in this next month as well. Everything today is framed in peace. So how do you get peace out of the work that you do and spread the lessons and the essence of peace to those that you work with? And with that, Imani, if you are available, we'll pass you the line.
Y'all said me?
Okay. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Just came to the restaurant with my mom. Go back over there, sir. Go back over there. Go back over there. Sorry, I got the kids. Y'all know how they is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm glad Ada hopped on, was able to share with y'all, man. She doing some amazing
Yeah.
stuff. Only bring the best on,
That's right.
So yeah, so we have this weekend we have on Friday we have the the mental health awareness seminar.
Okay.
We're gonna have the so Gary, I didn't even know who Greg Payton, the youngster, he's gonna be MCing. We're gonna do breakout rooms. I'm gonna explain the Next Level Kings, Fly Girls, how it parallels with mental health. So yeah, I've been enjoying doing the stuff with the kids and stuff, man. These kids is like, it's like you just got to be honest with them. I just tell them all the time. I say they like, I don't want to do this, and I'm just like, well, I don't want to either, but we have to. We have to talk. I want to know about y'all day. I need to know how y'all feeling. Some of them don't want to talk. They roll around with these hoods and hide behind their backpacks, and. So I'm just trying to get them to, they're the future. So I got to get them out of get them out of their shell, get them talking, get them see what they're interested in. Yeah. And definitely, I'm gonna link up with Ada. Talk to Jamila because that biotech thing is something that's big. Me and Roxy found out about that. That was like a few years ago. Her teacher was a biology teacher, and when we went up there for a STEM program, they showed us the strawberries, DNA, and everything, and then we got to talking about school, and they said, "Yeah, we're in the biotech program," and it was a new program that they implemented, and it was just like, man, that is great that you don't have to go to a 4-year college. Yeah. And they're offering that. So when it rolled back around with Ada, I'm sorry, y'all. Come over here. Come closer over here, away from the street, please. So rolling around now, Ada doing it perfect, man. Like these kids coming like these rice rocket rolling by. These people come out of, these kids come out of middle school and high school, don't know what they want to do, and it's good for them to have the guidance from the counselor. Yeah. To be able to go into different careers that's actually going to work, get different degrees and stuff where they can actually get out of school and actually get a job doing it. Yeah. Because me personally, I believe four-year colleges, university is a scam. That's me. I'm just speaking on my, because it's too much money. You got people in other countries that's going to college for free. They offer free college.
Yep.
You know, because they're the future is going to keep their. Sir, take a seat. Come over here and take a seat. Yeah. I'm sorry, y'all. Go back inside, y'all.
Okay.
Go back inside. Go back inside. Yeah, go back inside. Go back inside. Matter of fact, y'all can come out here. Y'all come. Sit down. I'm sorry, y'all. Sit down. Man.
It's okay. The
So,
children are definitely the future. You gotta pay attention.
Yeah, so to be able to guide those kids that way. And we have the perfect people with Ada. I know we have China, we got Jamila doing some stuff with through the education. Of course, I'm just gonna point them to them. I'm point the kids to them. Like, there you go.
Yeah.
Them counselors are important to advocate for you. You know, and you know, just to speak on that, I need y'all prayer with my wife because my wife is going through the whole thing now where she has a exemption. You know, trying to do her college thing, and they're stopping her from doing it because she doesn't have a certain medication that they want her to take. That's what it is. Basically what it is, right? The medication they want her to take. So, so they're trying to. I'm talking about God been moving her through, and she has not been advocated for. You know, So it's things like that, and I'm telling her, you're going through what you're going through because it's going to be some girl or guy that's going to want to go through the nursing program, and they're going to need to know how to get through without taking what some people believe is poison, you know, or medication or whatever it is. It's just like, you know, it should be my choice. You know, so they try not to give her a choice, but they trying to stop her. So we, y'all know any lawyers, please. Because it's just, I mean, it's be easy money for these lawyers because the emails, the last minute stuff they've been doing to keep her out, you know, telling her don't come to class and certain things like that. And I'm telling her, go to class, let security escort you off the premises, you know, because, they trying to stop her. But good thing she kept going because then she entered she found clinicals to go to where she was able to go to Napa State Hospital and then into some as a children's hospital. So, you know, God been pushing her through because, you know, she's continuing to fight and advocate for herself. And no one should have to do this, but somebody got to do it. I mean, we talk about hidden figures, man. Like, you know, been breaking barriers. Black women been breaking barriers. You know, so they ain't nothing but barrier breaker. So I told her she got it, and I got her back. Whatever I could do, I sent her a list of lawyers, and we're gonna go through it. But anyway, so back to the education, just not stopping and having the right guidance to give people the education. So thank you for Ada for your community service. And you know, all of us, I know, you know, it's people take their own money, their own hard working money, and come out and do these things in the community, man. That's why y'all are my heroes. It ain't easy. So now that I know Ada is linked in, you get on these grant meetings and win some of these grants. And we the crew is gonna show you how to do it. Best at it. Right. Yeah. Hess, put your hand down. All right, y'all.
Hey, don't go nowhere, man. Don't go nowhere. Don't go nowhere.
I ain't go nowhere.
I need you in this too. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't cut the line, but thank you for letting me in, Amani. Y'all, I've been thinking.
Okay.
Now, Ansarel, you read the book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think?
I think it's beautiful.
Now, I need y'all help.
Okay.
I decided that we gonna do this.
Okay.
You know, people already been messaging me, wanting to do interviews, wanting to buy the book. I'm waiting for the final process, the pictures and the corrections in it. But right now already, people have been asking me, a young lady that wants to do some cross promotion with some UK artists said she could help get it in the bookstore. She gave me a list of what I need to get it in the UK bookstores.
Okay.
Now, my mom is famous over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's bigger there than here.
Mm.
Now, if we could get it in the stores there and some stores here, I already got a record store that said we could come in there, do a record signing, book signing slash. We could hit all the record stores around here.
Yeah.
Um, I need it pressed up. Now I know y'all do that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we need to uh dot the I's and cross the T's on a few things, but
Yeah.
I want to do it with y'all.
That sounds excellent.
You know, I
We
could
got
get
we got a workflow strategy, and the era that we're in now is the most amazing era for anyone that wants to be an entrepreneur, because not only is all of the information that you need to do things on your own, to do things with your people, you don't need to be paying anyone to do things anymore unless you're just being lazy or you just don't know how to use the technology. All of the most up-to-date ways of going about promotion, marketing, distribution, developing apps. Not only can you find that information at the push of a button, but you can actually assign AI agents to build, work, promote for you. So
yeah.
um, this is what we've been getting our feet wet in and getting experience in. And when it comes to book promotion, you already have a head start, because no matter how much the computer knows, it's still going to be a degree of human experience that's going to be needed to oversee those AI agents and make sure that they're doing what they do. You know, music management, you know, music promotion, you know that field. Book promotion works the same way.
Works the same way. And then look, the book is about this is look, this is what it's turning out to be. This is why I got to have BUCU in this, because we are all love. We come here, everybody in this group, I don't know who's all in here, but I see them on a regular basis.
Yeah.
No one has to come here. We come here because we love to be here, love to be a part of something.
Yes, sir.
My mom and I story is love.
Right.
If you just go deeper into it, it's love. You know, it's the love I
Yeah.
have for my parents, the love my mom and dad had for each other, and the love for music.
Yeah.
Now, my dad, I mean, your dad and me, we met out of love and music.
Mm-hmm.
Now our friendship is over 30 years, and look where we at. Love brought us back together.
Right.
You know, and he brought his children and y'all opened up the door. We opened up the door for each other to blend our
Yeah.
families together. And it's all love.
Yes,
Right.
That
sir.
time when we went to Auntie Frances' birthday, and I got out the car, and Sister Africa ran over to me, see me way halfway down the block, and ran and greeted me and helped me across the street. She didn't have to do that. That was love.
Yeah.
Now, We about to kill them, y'all. I'm out
Yes,
there.
sir.
I'm out there online in these online streets,
Yeah.
talking to people, bumping heads. I've been on the phone all damn day. I went to my chiropractor, came back talking to this young lady in the UK, talking to this country cracker. You know, he is, but he likes me. And he's throwing offers out to me.
Okay.
You know, so I'm entertaining him. It's all about this book, this love that's about to
Yeah.
happen. People ask messaging me, how do I get one? It ain't even pressed up yet.
Yeah. That's
It's not,
good.
you know,
Hey,
and
we was looking at the press and thinking of imagery. If you want imagery in there, either at the heading of each chapter or in certain locations, placement of that. And then there's a couple of filters that you could put on the book, and we could do that again at the push of a button. And
mhm,
and really have it as something that's presentable. You want to, anything that you do, you want to set up a marketplace. So think of it like that, right?
yeah,
Say, for example, if this is the Love Project or a project to encourage people to reconnect with the love of family and reconnect with the love
there you go.
of,
There you
yeah,
go.
a
There
family
you
legacy.
go. You
So
know what? Let,
now
let me
you build
let
a
me say
movement
this,
out
man.
of it. Yes,
Let me
sir.
say this. Let me say this. Let me say this. You and Mama Answer are the greatest example of black family love. I grew up in that.
Yes,
My
sir.
mom and dad got married 2 times.
Yes, sir.
2 times. I was the best man in the second wedding.
Yes, sir.
What kind of shit is that? You know, this is where we could go with this, man.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
story of love and music. And then look, we got the Answer family. Y'all together, y'all got the kids, y'all all move as a unit. You know what I'm saying, man? That's oh my God, man. See, that's where I've been thinking and thinking, and I'm like, people been come throwing publishers at me, but this is a good one. And your story is good enough. All you got to do is pitch it. People have run to it, which I know that. Ain't
You was
nobody
already
said
on
shit.
some interviews. How many shows have you already been on? Television shows, news shows, just about Mama Clary's career, Mama Carey
Oh
career.
man, look, more than a few.
I know.
And
And
and look, check this out.
yes,
I didn't cut down the grass. I'm running that same trail
yeah, that's what I'm
with the
saying.
book.
Now run
With
it
the
back with
book.
the book. You run it back with the
Yeah,
book. And
yeah,
this is the thing when we talk about the beautiful work that everyone is doing, and I know we got to spin the needle and how to support everyone, it ties into that book. So it's similar to
yep,
what we were talking about in the music meeting about everything bears in on Dear America. So we
yep,
could find something within the program of each of our members that is actually a universal program. Dear America, we letting you know that this melting pot idea that you had over here, although you might have had a diabolical colonial ideology to meld everyone into your European perspective, God had his hand over it, and he's doing something more unique in bringing people together. You might have thought God blessed America and the diabolical colonial ideology that you had and what you had in mind, but the devil plans, and God is the best planner. He's doing something better. So when we say Dear America, we could be talking to the indigenous Americans. We could be talking to the people that are over here, not necessarily to the colonial European, British, European government ideology that's over here. But Dear America, wake up. You know, as the scripture said, come out of her, my people, meaning come out of her mentality, come out of that capitalistic, devil-minded mentality and return to God, which is returning to your true self, returning to your spiritual base, returning to family. Now we gauge the book, you know, a perfect example of return. This is a young man who was raised up on strong principles. But even with all that, the world's still able to pull him out. The book is beautifully laid out that way. But then he returns. You know, that's the prodigal son story right there. He returned. Let me return to the work of my family. And when he does, he finds a lifelong legacy. He finds a lifelong mission that can benefit, aid, and assist, motivate, and inspire other people all over the world to return to their family legacies. God put something unique in each and every one of us. Our parents live and die and work hard to make sure that we have something. And the white man come and break that. They have generational wealth. We tell our children, grow up, go out and get a job from somebody else instead of building on your family legacy. And so peace, the beautiful work that our sister Ada Brown is doing, the beautiful work. This is why, see, in this, we all brainstorming because we all connected to the same halo. God is showering us with vision. Right. And when there's a brainstorm, sometimes you realize we be brainstorming up under the same umbrella. And it's all coming together like a harmony, you know. The orchestration of it is by the administration of the Christ, the Mahdi, the Messiah, Buddha's enlightened one, Krishna, whatever you want to call it, it's all the same thing. A harmonic convergence of enlightenment that would take place when people would return to their base, to their root. And that's returning to your gifts. And peace is doing what you was born to do, given to do by God for a living. That's peace. You know, when you go out and try to do something just to get money, but your love and your heart is to do something else. But ever since you was in elementary, they start grooming you in this capitalistic society to fit in some kind of other way, or fit in with some kind of trend or something like that, you know. And so this getting this information out, putting it into music, getting our events going. We wanted to say peace also is to not be hindered and opposed as you do this work. And we were speaking with Imani about the beautiful work that our sister Jamila does. Satan sees the kingdom of God. He knows that this is that time. And so he moves those who are weak or susceptible to the energy. A demon is nothing but fallen angel energy. That's why they say demons are fallen angels, but angelic mind state. The angelic mind state is the mind state of obedience to God. And when that mind state falls, it falls into a demonic state. And so it's not a monster. It's not a feathered thing floating around or a lizard with fire coming out the mouth. It's a fallen, imbalanced mind state. Those are demons. And that demonic energy finds a host when you don't have the armor of God. And so when you don't have the armor of God, it can utilize your vehicle. And this is why mental health is so important. But trying to do it without God, you know, you had that separation of church and state again. That's European. But we know that trying to impose one way of God is universal. And so if you don't know the universal language, you need to get out the way. Because when Christ comes, he teach you how to speak in tongues. And everybody could understand in their own religion. And so this imbalance is moving the neighbor of Jamila to harass her. Now we know the vehicle is just a victim, but how do you counter something like that? And you do it with light. See, light drowns out darkness. Satan hates light. You put that light there. So I'm proposing to the family that we bring a pop-up out there to the park, right across the street, and put some light in that hood. Put so much light in that hood because the young man's parents are not in agreement with what he's doing. They don't like it. And when we put that light there and you put that love out there, invite the man to some mental healing. You know, you got to have confidence. You can't hold that cross up to no vampire and you don't believe in it. He's just going to slap it out your hand. So you want to
have confidence that this light can redeem that demon. You know, chase the demons out of the berserker man. You know, that berserker in the Bible, and the disciples attempted to heal him, and they was like, this one was rough, Jesus, we couldn't get him. And he said, that kind needs fasting and prayer. You know, and so we know how to do some fasting, and we know how to do some prayer, and we know how to get up off our knees after saying that prayer and execute on the instructions that God is moving us to do. This book movement is part of our music movement. Books are, you're never going to erase books, literal books in hand, just like wax, you know. So we're looking at that in relation to the beautiful work that Answer Demise is doing behind the walls, because these brothers got phones and they can get on the internet, but you got to put a real book in their hand, a real piece of paper in their hand, a real, and so, yeah, using this technology now, this stuff is so great with QR codes and everything else, what we could do. So the strategy that we're working on is just very dynamic, and we can't wait to share with the family more of that. But what do y'all think about a pop-up and about peace? How we're working on that, and why we get together, and why more people need to support us, because everything we're doing is to bring for the Prince of Peace to bring the kingdom of peace to earth. All right, family, Sajalahu.
Yes, Sajalahu. Yeah, I think that's good teaching. We should definitely plan that, especially if we invite the young man with his parents over, and you know, drown the situation out with love.
Yeah.
Hey, that's gonna scare the hell out of me.
Yeah.
You're not gonna somebody with a smile.
Man, Satan's scared of life.
Hey, they gonna run to the back of the house.
Right.
Why are they here smiling at me?
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
He won't mess with her anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Knock on the door, tell him we outside. Come on over here, get you a veggie sandwich.
Yep. That's for real.
Man. But yeah, I need y'all help, and this love that we could do is gonna promote everybody big time, because my mom already has a nice following.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Well, put your information in chat so everyone on the line knows where to follow the Indie Hookup and your page, and then just let us know what we need to do to share the information, to spread the book, to promote the book. You know, we can share it with the entire network, and the network can do its thing.
Yeah, I got a couple of interviews already.
Okay.
I didn't even plan for.
Okay.
But y'all know I could talk, so that ain't no problem.
Yeah. Oh, you're muted and Scribe. And your camera's off.
Wait a minute.
And Scribe, you were saying something?
Hey.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, I was saying, Hess, you know Naru gonna get you if you get the advertising and promoting before you have your product ready.
Oh, I know.
You're already ready for that.
I already got it, but you know what? The product will be ready before we go to bed. I'm waiting on it. I'm waiting on it right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
You're muted again.
You know, you can have a digital copy. You can have a print version. You can have the first 100 copies. You could do that thing like the Russell and them did, where you don't have to pay standard price. Get your collector's item, the Kerry Cleveland novel. Get your collector's item. Be the first to get it. This is the first print. And so, man, you don't have to wait. It's just having a strategy. You know,
Hey, check this out. Check this out. This what I'm gonna do. I'm going to go to print on demand, and I'm gonna buy 40, 50 copies just up front, so my mom could authenticate them. You know, because
Okay.
her signature is $100 at least,
Okay.
and you know that the album is going to be the best of Kerry Cleveland. So it's going to have 4 originals, the 4 that Ricardo and Earl did, and 3 that KE did. That's 11. So, and then I'm
Okay.
calling it the best of.
Okay, Cleveland.
We got one record store already doing there. Soon as we say we got everything, I got the book, I got the album. I told Amani to get ready for the t-shirts.
Yeah.
Look, let me tell you how God works. Let me tell you how God works. Remember about a month ago we got rear-ended?
Uh-huh.
That's my startup money.
That's a blessing.
That's a blessing. I'm gonna take $1,000.
Okay.
Do some t-shirts, do the book, the album, put them
Yeah.
together as a package. With my mom's signature, 200, 250.
Okay.
I think we can get that.
Yeah. Yeah, for
And
sure.
and then to go to the record stores, I mean, y'all ain't never been to one of my mom's record signings. I'll call a record store and we'll go there. And when we come out, my mom will go, I felt funny. They was all looking at me. And I
Uh-huh.
laughed like, Mom,
Yeah.
them people were called into the store to see you.
Yeah.
You know, she a legend in these old record stores.
Yeah.
We go in and they show up. So
Yeah.
that's what my plan is. You know, we'll figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, that's
Uh,
good. I see Imani has some input he want to share, so let's go to him real quick. Imani, I see your hand is up. Okay.
My bad. Sorry, we was over here talking about the thing I was telling you how we wanted to do a go back in there. Go. It's all right, though. No, it's all right. How they want to do we want to do the Christian hip hop concert,
Yeah.
and I meant to tell you, I forgot to let y'all know. Ada was the one that did the Black History Month thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So she
wow.
know.
Okay.
So she know how to put a party together.
Yeah.
Yeah. She could block a whole street off on Georgia Street. So we got the whole Georgia Street where we could set up.
Okay.
Because she has Lady Echelon right in front. You know,
Okay.
you know how we try to stay humble and we sell ourselves short when we telling people about what we do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so yeah, I was sharing with Ansarel that it was somebody. I mean, I hate the politics, you know, and you know the guy, you know, was saying, oh, the popular Christian hip hop rappers wasn't hitting him back, you know, because it's been a trend lately, right?
Yeah.
So then my folks end up hitting me. She posted me in there. She said, "What we doing?" Because she know that I've been wanting to get with her crew to kind of us come in there and you know do our thing, whoever it may be. So so um so I went in and asked him, and he never he the same dude that was saying that the Christians wasn't responding, he wasn't responding. You know, so
Yeah.
yeah. So Never heard from them, but there was a whole bunch of people in there that DM me, I DM'd them, and we talked about putting something together. And they were just like, man, we come out whatever and do whatever. Because our brothers do call themselves the new main. They call themselves the new mainstream.
Okay.
You know, Miles Manic and all of them. So
yeah.
like I said, I rather we the new underground.
Yes, sir.
You know how the underground rap scene
Yeah.
was. So we'll be that. But yeah. So I just wanted to let y'all know Ada is she's good when it comes to that. Also, I want to remember Ansar Africa. I'm gonna have Jamila get in touch with you. She needs she wanted a masseuse for some wellness thing that we have that we want to do. I think it might be end of the month, but I'll let you know.
Please let me
I'll
know.
have
And
her.
I'm a
Yeah,
massage therapist. We do
massage
have,
therapist. Thank you.
yes,
Thank you. That's what it
yes.
is. Massage
And
therapist.
I got
Yes.
a whole crew. And we call Just Touch.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think we're gonna have it. I think we're gonna have it outside. And I know that's your kind of thing. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yes.
I told her, I said, man, I got the, man, you better hit up, sister.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Stop playing if you want the best.
Come on.
You know, she don't want the best, she go with somebody else.
We
Yeah, I'm
do
having to get in touch with you.
community events. We do everything. We work
I know.
go work with our unhoused people. We work
Yeah.
with
I
everything.
know.
So we ready.
I know. That's what I told her. I said, man, like y'all be outside. I
yes,
told her straight up.
literally.
Hey, for
Yeah.
real.
Yeah,
For
I told.
real.
I mean, I told her the whole story about how y'all didn't. You know, y'all didn't. Hey, go and bring that girl up out here, out of that house. So I told her the whole
Yep.
story.
Yes, let's go. And like the brother said, we ready too. We need to post up. You know, let's
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
this thing go
I know.
viral.
I know.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, and we gonna make it go viral and make sure we tag everybody that's all of us involved.
Yeah.
I let her know. I said we need to figure it out. Like pull the trigger. Not like
Mhm.
that. Not that trigger.
And then down here, my folks, he
Right.
did the movie Straight Out of Compton. Can you hear Straight Out of Oakland? Not Straight Out of Compton, Straight Out of Oakland.
Oh, really? Yeah, I
And
remember that.
yes, so my brother, you know, we could talk to him too. He could shut down the block. We got all the 23rd down here.
Oh, that's for sure. That's
Brother
what I'm
Junior
talking about.
is. Yes. So just let us
Yes.
know. We're on. And we got capabilities for him too.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
June 7th. Put June 7th. It's two other dates too that I'm linking up with this lady and she's in Richmond. So she called me and said that it's some event that she's doing that she want me to
Okay.
come get down. It's a gun violence.
Okay.
Yeah, anti-gun violence thing,
No,
and
no
she
one
needs some
knows
business.
goes.
Okay, we there. June 7th. I got
June
y'all on.
7th. June 7th. Yeah. So and it's two other dates because she wanna do it get with us with all 3 days, and I told her we could get a MC coming out, MC Energy. She's a young lady that's been doing some stuff. She did the one for Ada also, but her,
Okay.
and then she kind of knows a lot of the DJs and stuff. Um, but she's super duper woman power. So she bring the
Yeah. Need
so
that.
she for sure. So she the DJ and me and Hess was talking about this too. Just I've been getting with all the event planners that's in the Bay Area. So I
Mhm.
see if they want to do some stuff and get some stuff
Yeah.
rocking because it's not a lot of stuff for people to do in Vallejo. And that's why one of my
Yeah.
close friends, she left Vallejo because there's nothing to do here for her kids. You know? And that's the kind
Yeah.
of thing that we want to that we
Get
trying to
around.
get going.
Yes,
So
because the idle mind is the devil's workshop. We
yeah, I'm
gotta
telling
always
you.
have something for people to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Good teaching. All right. But beautiful, amazing reports thus far. We're gonna continue to get more reports from our members on the line. And Imani, send us that event information as well, because we're gonna be looking into the date for the next BUCU event and want to make sure it doesn't overlap. So let us know. Now we know June 7th is taken, and so we'll be looking at the end of May, early June. So just let us know so that we can consider which dates we'll be using. And let us continue. I see Sister Yamina on the line, and our sister has been on a few of our meetings. I think she was on our last BUCU meeting, but she had to get off before we was able to get to her. So we want to hear from our sister Yamina. How have you been? If you're available, how have you been? Some of the milestones that you've been blessed to reach or plan for this next week, how all of us online can support you. And also, the jewel of this month is peace. And so, we are speaking about peace today. And we define peace as the state of established existence in the atmosphere of the 12 jewels, emphasizing the essential power of harmony and balance in everything that we do. And so, we want to discuss what is true peace. We want to discuss how we receive a sense of peace in the work that we do in the community and how we can spread that to our people, to our youth especially. And so, Sister Yamina, if you're available, we'll pass you the line. Sister Yamina. Okay. Okay, Sister Yamina, if you are available at any point, just jump on in. We're going to continue. I see our Sister Francine on the line. Sister Francine, I know that you might be out. It sounded like you were out earlier, but if you have a little bit of time, if you can share with us how this week has been for you, some of the milestones you prayed to accomplish this week, your goals for next week, and how all of us can support you, and as well your input on the jewel of peace, which is defined as the state of established existence in the atmosphere of the 12 jewels, emphasizing the essential power of harmony and balance in everything that we do. And so we'll pass the line to Sister Francine.
Oh, well,
Okay.
hello there. Okay. A lot of things going on. So since this is our check-in, I have to ask you, Sister Ansarel, did you join the Black Art Therapy Network yet?
I have not yet, but I plan to do that hopefully this week.
Okay, so I went to a distance training on the weekend for cranial, and I should have took a picture. I was the only Black person there. So the teacher hosting the event was get anybody who paid for the event was the money was going to the BIPOC training scholarship money. So here I show up with my BIPOC self, and I'm the only Black person there. So that always has a little feeling of sadness to it because I wish we were more populous with the training. And I just didn't say anything much at the training. I just kind of went to it, and I had a couple of questions, and I noticed the lady that I was practicing with was she used to be on the board, was a former president of our association. I'm in the farmers market, if you can hear the background noise. And she when we did breakout practice, she she was really there to get practice, and I could tell she especially wanted to experience me doing distance training because he had us raise our hands. Anybody who's experienced it, like received it or given it, he paired us up, so that was different. And then he had the other people that showed up. There were about maybe 35 or so people showed up. So he raised probably about 15,000 or 5,000. No, he probably raised around 5,000, 5,000 to 6,000 for scholarship. So it really doesn't take that many people coming together. And I think it was $130. I got a discount because I'm a student member of their association. And when you put 35 people together, look, you got $5,000 already, right? For that small amount. And that's what I noticed the Buddhist people do. They have people who are dedicated to, their building funds and stuff like that, and they'll just come together and they have tiered. I'm kind of segueing into that part to say it doesn't really take a lot to get a building fund together. If you have, you could have 50 members that donated $1,000, and right there you'd have enough to do a down payment, on a property even, or help toward a business fund. And that's kind of what they do. They hold a big banquet event, and these people, some of them will donate, as much as even $50,000, that kind of thing, and they will get their building. That after that day, they'll have enough funding, So I've been paying attention to how they raise funds for their pursuits.
Yeah.
And so I noticed that she wanted to experience. So she went on and on about what she was experiencing when I did the practice, did the practitioner, and she was the client. Then when it was the other way around, I said, "What was your experience?" She just said, "Good." So this is what people. I was explaining that to Sister Africa. I went to get a massage on the island. That this is what people do when they're not really there to give or exchange. They're really just there to get something. And she repeatedly did that over and over again. And she tried to rush me when I was doing my feedback about the practice. So I asked her how she did distance training. She said, "Well, I didn't train to do distance," or she said, "I received practice." So from different people. So really what she was, this is a kind of a line of demarcation that there's a point to where these types of works are vocations. They're callings. Okay. So this is one of the reasons why I believe we have problems in the medical association, because people go to school and they don't have a vocation, they have a calling, and they're just doing something. And you'll find people that'll just do stuff by rote. They're not thinking. They don't, they're just there to get a quick buck and move on. They're not there further the science or anything. So this time around, I just noticed that I just kind of categorized it as a immaturity on this lady's part, that I was dealing with an immature practitioner. Doesn't matter how many years you did it, but if you're still operating off that sort of negative intention of I'm there just to get something for myself. And there are some teachers who are like, if you work on somebody, you can get some of the energy that's coming off of them. You're experiencing that too. Yeah. That is a wrong disposition. That is stealing from that person. You can notice it, but you're not supposed to take it on because it doesn't belong to you. It came up for that person's healing. And if you are sipping their, stuff, their medicine, you're energetically, you're stealing from that person. So what the practitioner experiences is something entirely different than what the person is, because we're doing a practice. We're doing a medicine practice. So the information I get that's coming off the person is entirely different. I'm getting awarenesses of and also charting their experience. I'm not expecting it to be identical to what I'm experiencing. And so what I said to Sister Africa is, I said, I'm noticing these things because I'll be a teacher one day. I'm already a kind of a teacher of sorts, you could say. Yeah. And that's the other thing they tell you is you have to wait until you finish to teach. Well, if you have something to teach, you can teach it. Right. You don't have to limit yourself to what, these conditions that they're putting out. They're just slowing down more people coming in so that they can make more money, and stuff. And because it's a selfish form of ideology. Yeah. We don't even have enough cranial sacral people in the world doing this. So just to do that is terribly unethical. I mean, how many millions of people are in the world? How many clients could we have? There are enough people that need this work, and we could create a business, stuff. So it's just interesting. And I was the only, only Black person in the room. And out of 35 people, I think only less than a dozen people gave their email and information to exchange practice. So that was also not so great. Because people today, we can talk through, you can use WhatsApp. There's a video on WhatsApp. It's free, so it's not really impossible for people to get together unless they, I don't know what their reasons are. I'm not judging them, but then that's what the teacher encouraged us to do. It wasn't just to exchange practice, but it was but by exchanging practice, we're also creating community amongst the practitioners and the people doing the training.
Yeah.
And then, there's that other added, if I'm not being welcomed, that's not places I want to be anyway.
Right.
There has to be some kind of welcome there. So I don't know if you guys caught it on the internet. Our what do you call it? Our like in Star Wars, our prime leader has decided to fire all the national science people that are, the people that are protecting our environment. All sorts of things. He fired the entire board of advisors. And it just for whatever it's, well, he's acting like a king. That's what he believes he is, a king or a prince, and whatever he says is the rule of the day. So we, keep your prayers up, keep prayed up, because I'm sure he's going to try to do as much damage, more damage. And they're the people that actually, populate the information about, when environmental disasters and stuff, we need those scientists, also to recommend what should be done to like clean it up. So his people, billionaires that want to exploit the environment and put all this toxic waste into the environment, he's protecting them.
Yes, for sure.
During this period. Let's see, and then they went after Comey because they claim he put some letters out there, which numbers out there, which meant kill the president. And I'm like, this is a trip. They had a whole what do you call it? A grand jury or something like that. He was indicted, and I'm like, don't we have better stuff to do than this? It's obvious people want to kill the president, but Comey isn't the first one, even if he did suggest it. But some shells or something that he saw on the beach already that were there, he didn't even put this. He didn't even make it. So, but this is the nutty stuff we're dealing with. So anyway, so I got the tapes for the polarity therapy teacher that was in San Francisco back in the 70s, and I'm not sure how long he taught there, but I loaned one to Sister Africa so I could start imparting some of that information, because the cranial work without the polarity work is kind of ridiculous, because you're working with elements, you're working with you're working with the elements, with energies that could be teaching you, basically life. All life is teaching you, and it's a core part of the indigenous practice. So when they take that out, it's they're doing something pretty unethical, to tell you the truth. But they're trying to match it to Western type practice, and that's not what these practices are. They are not Western. They were in the world long before Western science or boards and all of their do's and don'ts came into place. Way after the fact, they acknowledge us, but by then it's, people were deprived of the knowledge that were out there, or that the practice is relevant. It works. So it's the cranial sacral is associated with the earliest form of healing practice, which is the laying on of hands. Literally, the laying on of hands. So that can come out, and they were talking about intentions. Getting people to make an intention for their practice. Well, making an intention is a kind of a prayer. So see how they take the prayer part out and they just say making an intention. Well, an intention is a prayer, because we're spiritual beings. If you intend something, you're asking for something, and who are you asking it from? So anyway, so I'm glad that I decided to go ahead and start teaching a little bit of that about the polarity, so that when Sister Africa and I go off to or take the workshops online and then Santa Fe, that she'll have more knowledge base.
Yes.
Because without that foundational knowledge base, and I could see that on the clueless faces on the people that came, it's like they were interested in the distance training, but there was kind of, some missing links in there. And but today I'm not doing the codependency thing. I'm not there to help these people. I'm just there to get what I need, and I kind of learned that from Sister Africa. It's just like she said, I treat it as I'm spying on them or investigating them or whatever. So I finally gotten to that point where I don't even feel the slightest urge to like correct anything or teach anything or or bring up a topic. I'm not doing any of that anymore because I didn't know that was kind of a codependency behavior.
Yeah.
And it wasn't welcomed, by the way. And if it was, it just made me target practice for people who wanted more or just drain my energy like a battery.
Yeah.
So I also put my picture up. I don't show my face because I learned over time when I'm going to meetings with too many Caucasian people that there's an energy in the room that gets directed towards me. And if I put my face up instead, that gives me some distance. So I can focus more because I can feel that kind of like, I don't need to go into that, but
yeah,
it's just,
we
right.
understand.
So, so it was an interesting experience. I had already taken some training with a teacher and I knew already what she was doing, but he went into quantum physics a lot.
Okay.
And one of the students mentioned a self practice. I think he was European or Australian or something, and he mentioned this book, and the teacher said they put it in the chat. So I ordered the book because that self practice is important. That's the kind of practice I do. I don't just do practice with the client. I teach them something so that they can do their own, a component of it they can do on their own, so that they can kind of keep their healing going. Because it's actually a proactive. All these practices are proactive. There's something you need to be doing when you're away from the practitioner, either through diet or like the yoga, exercise or some type of meditation. And they're all meditation based, by the way. Okay. So he was reluctant to mention that because he's a Hindu. He's trained to be a Hindu priest and stuff like that. And I don't care. It's just, if you're teaching something, the student is entitled to know something about your history. How did you develop your practice up to now? And the people were curious about that. And I could see he was reluctant to talk about it. And I'm like, I'm not going to run off and be a Hindu. I just wanted to know where's your meditation-based practice coming from? So let's see. So I got the tapes, and so if anybody's interested in doing the training or even just coming to the first workshop that Rudy Wagaki is going to give online, I think it's 2 hours. The first one is like 2 hours or something, and that's a kind of a pre-intro, so that to just give people the idea of what the practice is, what's involved, and everything else. So even if anybody's not ready to take it, it would be good to take that first one, and then you get the idea of it. But also you get a conversation with Rudy Wagaki that would go with it, and you find out a little bit about her, how she got into the practice, and what's where she's at now. So she's the first Black teacher in our association in the United States for the biodynamic work, and this is the first. Her last training was a teacher's training, and now she's a full-fledged certified teacher in their association. And so she has closed off her school to only BIPOC. And her intention is to get as many Black people trained up in this as possible. Yeah. So I had to say, I had to apologize to the ancestors that I'm coming late, 67 now. But she said that doesn't matter to her. Age, people had injuries. Some people had to lie down during the training. She said, I'll take you as you are. She said, this lady is so righteous. And she said, I'll make it work for you. Whatever I have to do to make it work for you. She has her own scholarship funding from the association and from wherever else she's getting money. And she will make it work for you. That's what I want to say. So that she's a righteous person, and I'm glad I met her and stuff. So, and my mother's thing is still going, and I had to hire an attorney earlier this week, and so he's we missed a date to continue the motion because he didn't explain to me I had 16 days to like ask for additional time. But the way I covered my base is I went to the doctor and I had her and I said, what should the doctor say in her letter? And he said, well, she has to be specific about how much time you want to extend it to. So he helped me with that much, but I had to know that before I saw him, because he's under the impression that this is just he's from Korea and see different cultural values. He's under the impression that this is just a little family squabble. So I had to tell him no. Asking for the attorney for additional time is not going to happen because my older brother's involved and he stole $300,000 from my mother already. And I said, that's the real background story here. So I'm starting to have to pay him out in cash. So it's $300 to do some paperwork for a ex-parte hearing to get the judge to agree. Okay. And then I strengthened it because I'd gone on to Chat GPT and I'd experienced this before. You need a doctor's letter. Because I have a disability and I'm using that, and I need to push this forward. That'll also give me a couple of months of treatment through workers' comp, through pool therapy and whatnot, to get so I'm a little bit, not so tired coming in. But it has been a bit of a task I have to Thursday to put together all my exhibits and stuff for him. So he's not cheap. He said for the settlement conference, that's going to be $800. He said that's an all-day ordeal. I don't think it's going to be all day, but my brother wants to pressure me into signing a contract, and I'm not signing a contract because that'll give him the power to dangle that over my head, and I can't have him in that. Allow him to have that kind of power. And my mother's stressing out over it, and her blood pressure is going back up again. And I had to lecture her today and say, look, before you broke your hip, I told you to slow down. And what happened? You broke your hip. And I said, so now this is more serious. You have to understand, if you have a stroke, you could just not be conscious and lingering for years in bed, in a convalescent place somewhere being cared for. And I said, you need to pay attention, because I said I could send you some vegetable juice from this fresh juice company downtown Berkeley. And she said, no, I don't want that. So I just waited a while and I said, are you resting? She said, I have stuff to do. And I said, okay. So I said, we've gone through this routine before and I've brought your blood pressure down. I said, you know what that involves? And I said, if you keep refusing what I'm asking you to do, I said, then you're on your own. And I said, and I've already seen your death in a dream. And I said, and it wasn't pretty. And I said, so you can do something for yourself now for later. See, these parents don't understand. You have to work on your karma now. This goes into like the 10th generations going forward. We have to work on stuff, our character defects, even our strengths and our weaknesses. We have to work on those because it helps the next generation. I notice it doesn't just help the next generation. I can see it in my cousins and, my nephews and nieces and stuff like that. Now it's affecting them now. So we must, challenge their challenges to us to work on this so that we get more grace. Right. That's the intention of the divine, is to give us more grace, but it's not but we have to participate in our own life. We can't just sit on the sidelines and act like it's somebody else's job. Yeah. Okay, so that's my little spiel for today. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Sister Francine. That is excellent. And can you put the link to the training that you said that everyone can maybe attend? You can put that in the chat.
Which one? The Black Art Therapy Network?
That or one, the one and the other one too.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, thank you, Sis Francine.
You're welcome.
Yes, that is excellent. It's really great having these conversations, because everyone You know, we're a community and we want to unify, but we do want to make sure that we pass on the lessons to the next generation. And that is the good lessons about how great we are and all of our accomplishments, and also the lessons that we had to learn that could have been hard for us to learn, because we want the next generation to not have to repeat those same lessons and to just move forward. They'll have their own set of difficulty to go through that they can give to the generation after them, and so that way we evolve and not revolve, and that's our goal and our plan. We don't want to stagnate the youth either, so we don't want to bog them down with having to to bog them down with this information like, hey, you're responsible for all of the things I feel like I didn't accomplish, but you do have to get all of these lessons. And so that's the beauty of having people who understand. We have a new generation and they want that new information. They want the baton to be passed. And we pray that we can do that with and for them. So let us continue to get our reports. I see our brother Shabbat on the line. Brother Shabbat, thank you for being here, because I know that you've been pretty busy today. But if you are available, if you can share with us how this week has been for you, some of your goals for this upcoming week, how all of us on the line can support you, and of course, your input on the jewel of peace and how you spread peace in your daily life. And prayerfully this week we'll be able to get some work done tomorrow at the grant meeting, because we have a lot to talk about. And so we will pass the line to Brother Shabbat.
Assalamu alaikum, family.
Wa alaikum salam.
Well, I'll begin with yesterday I had a beautiful meeting down at Our Joy, and
Okay.
talked about with one of the individuals that does his own homesteading at his own property, and he was giving me some input on a couple of organizations that help with the community gardens and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I told him we had to set up a meeting, because that was a sidebar meeting. We didn't have a lot of time to express what was going on. So we're gonna set up something for next Monday, and
Okay.
have a side. It'll be a sidebar, but it's gonna be scheduled, so we have a little more time. And we're
Yeah.
gonna push that. And it's the organization he said that's funding people's and backing people's is in East Oakland, West Oakland, and in Richmond.
Okay.
So I told him, well, I was going to start with Quest for Success in Oakland, East and West, and then go to Richmond and Vallejo,
Yeah.
since those are the other places that they contribute to community gardens and stuff like that. And I want to get with Imani, let him know that we may have to pull say 10 or 20 of his kids from the organizations, two of his
Yeah.
organizations, and have them out there as well. And we can I want to set it up with Quest for Success, where per session, say every 10 or 20 sessions or so, depends on how we map it out, give them gift cards. Give them a
Yeah.
couple of gift cards for completing it, a certificate for learning the skill that we're going to be teaching, because it will be classwork as well as hands-on. So we're going to go
Yeah.
with that. So I've been somewhat going over that, to have a curriculum down pat. And I remember
Yeah.
you told me that you needed some photographs so we could put up on the site and everything. I'll get them hopefully
Yeah.
sometime this week. I just have to go and be, now I'm finna say patient, but be more alert and just take the photographs and send them to you, because I pretty
Okay.
much have what I want. I got to decide which ones they're going to be.
Okay.
Send them to you then. And then Sister Africa connected me to the Sister Egypt. So hopefully with her, what we have planned for the second come to fruition. We're waiting on her to get back with me about that,
Okay.
but if not, I'll end up keeping the breast cancer stuff for the BUCU event that we're going to have.
Yeah.
If so, if not more so, I'll have to end up just ordering some more and setting up print on demand with this company. I got to go sit down with the owner and talk to line something up with her to do a
Okay.
print on demand where they could just go straight to my site and hook my site up with hers. I have a couple more stages to do with mine, and then I'll connect it direct to hers. So when they order, it'll be direct. I was gonna go with Printify and Shopify, but because I believe I have a easier access process going with this young lady, and she's not too far from my house. Printify and Shopify because they're out of state, can't go up
Okay.
in their warehouse or see what's going on. At least I could walk onto site her and walk in the back room and see
Yeah.
the process moving forward. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm hopefully I can connect with her sometime this week or next week. It was going to be yesterday, but got so busy and mentally slightly drained. I just went on laid back because I knew I was going to have something else to do later in the evening, so I
Yeah.
didn't put that on the table. Well, I took it off the table, but hopefully I'll get that lined up soon so we can
Yeah.
have that done. But besides that, I heard Uncle Hess earlier, trying to have people have tears drop out their eyes, weeping,
Yeah.
you know, which I feel him, Mama Carrie, she's been pushing for us for so long before
Yeah.
some of us was born, so that's a beautiful thing to be a supportive of her and keep her
Yeah.
legacy going and everything. Because
Yeah.
without her legacy, it takes a lot away from us because
Mm-hmm.
she is our legacy, one of them, and we stand on her shoulder. And for
Yeah.
me, proud to be able to do that. She allowed me to do that, so I'm
Yeah.
here to honor her in so many ways. I'm waiting to give it Uncle Hess so I could get a couple of photographs because I want to do a portrait of her anyway. And
Yeah.
then we end up doing some copies and sell some copies of her. We have Imani do the prints, and that way, everything stay in house. And then we sell the copies or give them away at some of her signings and stuff like that. And go from there. They like you were saying the T-shirts. You can also buy the portraits.
Yeah.
Donation, different stuff like that. To keep the family growing. And then
Mm-hmm.
Sister Francine had mentioned about the money for events. People's coming and donating so much. It's similar to the same thing I was talking about the property. There's
Yeah.
so many of us, and there's certain states and counties that you have acres for as low as 300 some dollars an acre. Just depends on where it's at and what else is
Yeah.
dealt with it. But we don't want to have too much of saying drilling wells and putting up electricity poles and all of that.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Unless we plan on going off grid, then going off grid, we do that, accumulate those options and deal with. But there's some with like $800 to $1,000 an acre, and it's not necessary. For 60 acres, we put so many people together and come up with an acre a piece or 2 acres, depends on what they want to put
Yeah.
in and buy and have, and that could be the start of the homestead. The
Mm-hmm.
community compound. You know, instead of looking at saying I need to get 65,000. For my own. No, we building
Yeah.
a community, so
Definitely.
we start
Mm-hmm.
small with 65 acres. I mean, 60 some thousand for 40 acres or less, and go from there. And then surrounding acres, we also look
Yeah.
into, well, what's going on with the surrounding acres. So if we buy these,
Mm-hmm.
we want also make sure we have direct access and not allowing someone to buy in front of us or on the side
Yeah.
of us where the road at. So they said, well, you can't cross my road to get to your acres, and now we have to pay them for rental fee and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
we have to, when we buy property, we have to acknowledge the access to it. We want our
Yeah.
own access to our own property, not going across someone else's. So if they have no other access road or the county won't allow us to put in one, that's not the
Mm.
property we want. And
Yeah.
there's other things like what is the flood plane on it? Is it a floodplain? I had sent you a couple of more tapes
Oh yeah, I seen those.
about yeah. So whenever you get a chance to look at them, a lot of the main information that deal with what we're looking for is towards some of the end of the tapes. But it is good to
Okay.
listen to it all because
Yeah.
some of the stuff in the front is information, not so much about the exact property, but how some of these companies go with saying they want say 100 some thousand for 10 to 20 acres, but
Yeah.
it's not worth that. But that's what they putting up. So if they could, you bargain them down some, you're still
Mm.
losing out because you're not taking in consideration the water source, electricity, stuff like that. Is it floodplain and road access, and there's a lot of other
Yeah.
things that may cost a few dollars here and there. So we want to look at it all. It's not just like, oh, it's cheap property, it's a low
Yeah.
cost for acre. Okay, but what else is comes with that behind that first upfront price? Because yes, it's
Yeah.
low, but after we add everything else up, it may end up being 1,000 or 20, 30 more thousand. So we have to
Yeah.
take in
Truly.
consideration of that. So that's been quite a bit of my studies lately, as well as
Yeah.
today before. When I was waiting on a training with my company, I had sent you a text letting you know that I might not make it today. That's why I was late,
Yeah.
waiting on that
Okay.
training. But besides that, it's just been a pretty much a flow and somewhat
Yeah.
on hold and moving forward best I can. You know, we plan, we move, but Allah is the best of planners. So let's just go with His plan since He's given us success within it.
Yeah.
And I'll stop there and pass the mic back to you, sis.
Yes, thank you, Brother Shabbat. That is really excellent. Yeah, we're also we want to really assist you with that, looking into the properties like a brick and mortar there in the Bay, and we're thinking of some different ideas. So we should set a meeting soon so that we can pick up on that, because I know that you have a lot of the groundwork really pretty much done with a few locations already identified, and so we have some if we can put all of our minds, all of our funds and resources together, we can possibly move that along. Along with thinking of some other ideas, like I was thinking of like a co-working space. Like you have a building, but you can offer some of the offices or something for people to come and be able to work during the day, or if they just need to use the space for events, something like what we look to do when we're looking for event space, or when we're looking for somewhere to do a pop-up, and we can offer that to other people in the community. So there's so many options, but that is just excellent, all of the work that you're doing, and we know that success, we already have success, so continued success is awaiting us. So thank you, Brother Spot.
Yeah.
Okay, and I see Answer Mother Wisdom on the line. Answer Mother Wisdom, you can share with us how this week has been for you, some of the goals that you have set for this upcoming week, how everyone on the line can support you, and as well, today, the jewel of this month is peace. And so peace is defined as the state of established existence in the atmosphere of the 12 jewels, emphasizing the essential power of harmony and balance in everything that we do. And so, how do you receive peace? And what is real peace? And how can we spread that to the members of our community? And so, with that, we'll pass the line to Answer Mother Wisdom.
Yes, ma'am. Sujalu.
Sujadalahu.
All praises are forever due to the credit my spouse, Father Muhammad, of course, and Son Balaj Muhammad, working through the spirit of truth, the Yellow Master J, Jehovah, Yahweh, Jesus, whatever name you like to worship him by. Um, it's been a very beautiful journey, of the
Yeah,
work that we've been doing. When you have a lot, to whom much is given, much is required.
yeah.
That's basically has been a chant for me of a
Mm-hmm.
reality of realizing the joy of the peace that I'm receiving um through the works that we are blessed, to be entrusted with from the creator master was Yufan Muhammad and his messenger, the great Messiah Balaj Muhammad, working through the spirit of truth, the Allah Master J. In dealing with we start, as far as with there's many hats, and one of the hats that we wear, you know, with our family is, in we'll say we don't have a degree in that we went to school to be a doctor. However, we find that, when it comes to, you know, close friends and family, when it's
Yeah.
sickness, or, we get a lot of those calls, to walk ones through. So we've been dealing with a lot of that. Credit Master Wealthy Fa Muhammad Grace Muhammad Muhammad the Allah Master J, which, even we get a lot of questions from doctors as well as
Yeah.
nurses. Am I in a medical field? So that within itself is a blessing, because in our training and walking, with the Allah Master J, he said there's gonna come a time that we're not gonna be able to go to these doctors' facilities.
Yep.
So we most and definitely have to have our home set up, that we're able to, treat ourselves, knowing what oil of oregano, would do, what cinnamon would do, what these natural herbs would do to the body, so that's one of the areas that we most and definitely, have to get more into studying that. Credit Master Wells, DeFi Muhammad, and Glorious Muhammad, Muhammad, the other Master J, have for so researching and finding truth on how to apply certain things is peace within itself.
Right.
As we're taught, history best to reward is researcher. So when you are researching and you finding the knowledge of truth, that within itself brings peace.
Yeah.
um Also just in the area as far as with the 144,000 elect foundation, um, it's been a lot going on there. Writing reports for grants that was already done. And actually, we just recently got off of a conference for a grant that we're currently in a process of writing. We actually have two new grants that we are that we're working. One is through the city of Oakland, and then we actually got two with the Alameda County. One is through the Alameda County Food Bank.
Okay.
Actually, we got two with the Alameda County Food Bank, and then one with the Alameda County Supervisor. So, look, as my mind is just going, it's like, oh wow, yeah, there's a couple of different grants that is
Yeah.
that we've been working on. So that's been this week. Well, as of Friday, and today, these last couple of days has been, on that. So it's just been a lot of, in this computer meeting after meeting after meeting, which is really a good thing, because the
Yeah.
programs that we are working on, is the mental health and the food insecurity. And being that there's a lot of cutbacks that is taking place, the Alameda County Food Bank and a lot of food programs is really gearing up. And this is where I would say that people really need to prepare for storing up food,
Yeah.
storing up their water, like the emergency. Because see, when you start seeing, like before, when the government had gave out, um, the stimulus checks and all that type of stuff, and then you're hearing, but when there's kind of like a void and a silence, but then also a loud noise, as far
Yeah.
as okay, and we're taught to get ready and stay ready.
That's right.
So in the manner of working, in the field, more so of seeing that there's things that's being said, but then there's things that's not being said. So when you have eyes to see, it's like, okay, This one right here, is
Yeah.
something that is cooking, in the background. It's like, okay, I can hear it boil. I can hear that water boiling,
Yeah.
or I can smell them onions and garlic, let me go ahead and store it up or whatever. So, yeah, it's been a lot, in that area. Our um, mental health um, program, created Mass Steve Muhammad and his messenger, the Grace Messiah Muhammad, working through the Spirit of Truth, Master J, have for us to the last mental health we was talking about the bullying.
Mm.
And with the bullying, that was a really good mental health focus
Yeah.
group that we had. We was actually looking for one of the videos of the 12-year-old that got bullied, jumped, and wind up succumbing to her injuries and dying.
Yeah.
But we wind up finding a video of a teacher that committed suicide from bullying.
Mm. Oh, wow.
So that those are just some of the things that people don't really realize on how
Yeah.
much the bullying really affect people.
Yeah. That's true.
It's not just the children, it's adults,
Mm-hmm.
that deal with that as well. So our mental health that's coming up for next month, we actually was speaking on, being that is a day before Mother's Day. That'd be a good topic, and prayerfully there's mothers on here, and of course it's not just for the mothers. We wanted to come with some solutions. What could be some
Yeah.
solutions, being that we as the mother of civilization, we know that we're dealing with a civilization that needs nurturing,
Yeah.
that needs that mother love. What can
Mm-hmm.
we do? What kind of solutions can be offered? Being that we have to send our children out into the held and wilderness of North America. When you in our training with the Allah Master J, he mentioned a reference to the original slave master is the mother. And he gave the degrees in reference to that, meaning that in order to survive a dark age, the mother had to go into a
Yeah.
degree as far as putting children to sleep, because when you
Mm-hmm.
had, either we was going to continue to watch our
Yeah.
children getting hung by tree, or whooped by the slave master. So the ones, only the strong shall survive. So it had to be a strong Black man to be quiet.
Yeah.
Don't to really embed in the mind, hush, do what master told you to do, because I know
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna defend your mother by nature. So in order for the mother to have that Black man to be quiet, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? We got to sneak through these fields, or we got to do this, we got to do that in order to survive. So that slave master, that mother that put that child to sleep. But now it's time to wake up everybody.
Yeah.
So now, okay, mother of civilization, what do we do? Waking up the gods. We had to put the
Mm.
god to sleep. Now waking up the god, what do we do as a thief in the night?
Yeah.
So that was one of the degrees that we were saying that will be good, good homework assignment for the mother of civilization, as well
Yeah.
as, assistance and input, from the male factor to come to the table with some solutions in reference to how can we work together in this dark age,
Yeah.
in this dawning of a new day, to bring resolution. So
Yeah.
that's where we are with the mental health. And then with our food insecurity, there's a two-part program. We have our food insecurity, that we get the food from the food bank, as well as and giving that out. But then we also, once a month, we give out a nutritionist meal.
Mm.
Either a sandwich, box lunch, or a bag lunch, or a hot meal. We actually gave out sandwiches with fruit,
Okay.
because the weather was a little, on the warmer side. So we actually gave out fruit. water, chips, and sandwiches on last Saturday, which was really good. And I'm telling you, these it'd be amazing because it's like the line be so long and then it slows down and then all of a sudden you see them running. I mean, we right there on 98th and C, you see them parking, running across the street, to the point of like, well, do we need traffic control? Which sometimes we do have to, escort them going across that busy road. But it was really good. It was a really good turnout, for our lunch program. We strive to do that the fourth Saturday of the month. Our mental health is the second Saturday of the month. We actually have a volunteer appreciation event that is scheduled
Oh,
for this
great.
Saturday, coming
Okay.
up. So we are working on that. I actually got to do a follow up to see as far as our t-shirts, because I wanted to give our volunteers t-shirts. I don't want to
Okay.
postpone the event if the t-shirts is not ready, but I did want that to be a major part of the event
Yeah.
itself. So but other than that, that's where we are. And then with our other job, United Seniors, we are gearing up for our convention that is coming up
Mhm.
May 29th. So yeah, we got a lot of different hats that we
Yeah.
are, currently wearing and, take off one to put on the other.
Mhm.
So that is our feedback.
Yes,
Sajalu.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sajalahu. Yes, that is excellent. That work with the mental health and really getting that work done, especially like we focus a lot on the youth, but adults need that attention as well. The As you put out, you need someone to pour into you as well. So it's really good to have a well-rounded program that addresses the youth and addresses the struggles that adults may be having. And it's just it's we know how important it is because the world that we're living in is so dark, and the youth have they have access to all of this dark energy. So even just stepping outside, you're surrounded by this dark energy. So you need people around you that can lift that darkness and be the forces of light. That's what angels are. Those forces of light to hold that darkness back and allow for you to see through all of the smoke. It's a great cloud over America. And as we're here, we know we have to eat, sleep, and live, but we know that we're looking forward to a future where we don't have to be in the midst of such negative energy. And we can see how it's affecting people all over. People are killing their spouses. Just in the month of April, almost 6 to 7 Black women were killed by intimate partners. One Black woman was killed by her son. And so this energy that's going around is affecting everyone. And we can see it. Mothers are killing their children. The people are going crazy all over the world. And so we know that this is the time that God is needed, and the light that he brings is needed for the world. And prayerfully, we can help people see that light so that they can overcome the darkness. But having that mental health program and helping people to prepare for life and prepare for life's challenges, which shouldn't be like the worst challenges ever. You shouldn't have to go through all of those things. But even if you do, ways that you can cope are very, very important. And so we want to continue. Brother Shabbat Dixon does some really great videos. We are kind of at our time, so we'll just look at one at the beginning of one of the videos. Let's see. One thing we did, there is some California or the Bay Area does have something that we can look into in regards to a building. They have the Surplus Land Act and the Vacant Property Tax that went into effect in Oakland. And it's basically for surplus properties that maybe have been abandoned in the Bay Area. And there's a pathway to acquire these distressed or abandoned properties below market. So that's something that we can consider. Of course, that means that you have to renovate these properties. So that's a lot to think about, but it is a pathway. And Brother Shabbat sent us some other videos that are pretty helpful. So I'll put them all in chat. But one that was really interesting is a video called Never Buy Land with These 7 Features If You Plan to Sell It. And so this is very interesting because this could be beneficial for us, even if we are looking to use that land or live on that land, what this person is warning us about. So we're going to look at a small part of this clip, and then if we probably won't have time, I'll just put this one in chat. Brother Shabbat sent a video that is entitled 10 Dirt Cheap California Land Listings with Acreage You Can Actually Afford Right Now. And so we are definitely in the talks of getting a property, getting some land, and we want to explore those options. These last few weeks, we've looked at different examples of our people purchasing land here in the United States and also in Africa and all over the world. Our people they have the opportunity to move, to purchase land, and to live off the grid and to be independent and sovereign. And that's something that we want to explore. So we're going to share the screen and just get a small clip of this video before we get off the line. All right, so we're not muted.
You can buy land anywhere you want in the world, but just because you can buy a piece of land doesn't mean that you can sell it. Because the same hidden problems that make sellers motivated to give you a really good deal on a piece of property are the same hidden red flags that smart buyers are going to go to any length to avoid. And if you buy land with any of the 7 deal breakers that we're going to talk about in this video, you're going to be holding the bag on a property that you're never going to be able to sell. For example, take a look at this 9.25 acre property that I was prepared to buy a couple years ago. This is in a town called Norwood, and it's a beautiful wooded lot, lies real flat, good topography. You have no flood zone, no wetlands, not a lot of concerns about the physical property from that standpoint. You actually even have a decent soil map, it looks like, too. Beyond that, we got what we thought was a really good price when we had a chance to buy it directly from the owner for $60,000 cash. You see, that sounds like a lot of money, but that property that we were looking at, we thought would be worth over $100,000. And by the way, there's pretty good evidence for that being true. Take a look at this property that sold 11.5 acres around the corner at 152 Turner Court in Norwood. This sold at $100,000 after 11 months on market. Now, this other property sold at an even higher price. This is a 14.19 acre that sold at $275,000. So we were pretty excited because we thought if we bought this land at $60,000, there was really no sold data for anything similar that was under $100,000 in value. But there was a bit of a problem because when we were doing the research for the property, we noticed that the access that came into the property from the main county road to the west appeared to follow a dirt road that would get you to the northwestern corner of the subject property. We thought that that was the driveway, the access, and I guess it was. People had been using it. It looks like the person that owned that land had been using it. But the problem was, when we looked at the most recent copy of the deed, there was no reference to an easement. There was no reference to a right-of-way, meaning that there was really no evidence that we could hang our hat on that we had a right to even use that driveway, even if it was supposedly ours to use. And we even looked at the deed of the neighboring parcel that driveway goes through. There's no reference to an easement through that land either. Mm-hmm. And guys, the dirt road, even if we had the legal access, which we couldn't prove that we had, probably would have to be improved for over a mile in length from the main county road to even get to the property, even if we had a right to use it, which we didn't. Don't buy that land if you ever want to sell it, because that property, my friends, is landlocked. And even if you paid $60,000 to buy it and you thought you were getting a good deal, you'd never be able to get your money back when you realize that you were wrong. Because that land that should be worth $100,000 is probably worth closer to 20. And if you paid the $60,000 for it, and you lost that $40,000 when you resold it, you'd be grateful that you were able to get any money out of that deal at all. Because avoiding mistakes like that is what this video is all about. Take a look at this property on Cox Maddox Road in a town called Sanford. This is a 1.71 acre property that has a lot of appeal because it has the perfect shape to be a nice, secluded, private home site. And you have a little bit of a stream going through the property according to the land portal maps on the property. You also have good topography. It's relatively flat terrain. It's very private in a good area of the general vicinity. This is a township that has had a lot of development. Lots like this that could be bought and sold affordably are in high demand. And you actually have a small portion of soil on the soil map that says it's a Nanford silt loam. That's a well-drained soil series. So with any luck, you can put a septic system on that land, which is really all you would need to prove that you have a buildable property here. Beyond that, we were getting a smoking hot deal on this property. We had a signed purchase agreement to buy it from the seller at $9,757.27. Don't ask me why the 27 cents. But the point is that when we looked and saw what the market was doing in terms of similar listings of similar 1 to 2 acre properties that sold nearby, we were looking at this market going, wow, I think we got a really good deal because we have this comp on Country Way in Sanford, this 1 acre lot that went for $55,000, 1 month on market, folks. Then we had this other one on Key Road, this 1.84 acre property that went for $49,500 after 3 months on market. So at first glance, we thought that the property we had, even though the access is not ideal because you got to run a driveway through that easement, we thought that even with the installation costs of that driveway, we thought that we would have a property worth in the range of $40,000. And we could prove, unlike the previous example in Norwood, that we do have legal access. You can see that when you look on paper, you look at the recorded plat map and the survey evidence, you do have an easement that goes exactly where you want it to go through the main entrance from the county road back into the property. Now you have to establish the physical access by doing a partial boundary survey, flagging the perimeter of that driveway, clearing the trees and putting in a simple gravel drive to get to the back. And that might cost 20 grand or a little bit more to do, but the point is that you still have a buildable lot, except for one thing. Because when you look on the satellite map, there's a bigger problem because you actually have in the middle of the right-of-way, spanning and blocking the entire right-of-way, a neighbor has decided to build a house. So you have a permanent encroachment of a neighbor's dwelling that completely blocks the one entrance that you have to get to your future home. Now you may be thinking, well, Alex, the neighbor has to move it at their expense. They're not allowed to do that. That's your right of way to use. That's all well and good. And you're right about that. But the problem is that that neighbor has something to lose because they've put a lot of money into that home, and to lose the value of that home and to actually move the permanent foundation and permanent site of a building like that is going to cost tens of thousands of dollars to do. So they have something to lose, and they're not going to want to do that if there's any way they can avoid it, because the second deal breaker after access issues is boundary issues. This is a classic boundary issue, guys, because unlike a minor encroachment where you have a minor improvement such as a fence or a shed that crosses the boundary line of your property that's mostly out of your way, this would be a major encroachment because you have a permanent structure that completely prevents you from being able to use the property the way that you want it to. And there's no good cost-effective way to navigate around it. And the neighbor may be good to work with. They may be able to move the property, but I mean, what are the chances that the neighbor is going to be able to absorb a multi-5-figure cost of actually relocating the site of that building? The point is you have to understand your boundary lines before you buy property. You want to pull historic survey maps on the land that you're buying, know exactly where the boundaries are, know exactly where the driveway and any easements are before you close the deal. And if you don't have any survey records to be able to point to, you may want to get a new survey before you close that purchase.
Okay, so I put that video in chat because he goes on to give more examples. Did I put it in chat? I didn't. He goes on to give more examples detailing the plot of land that he was looking at, the positives of it, and then what was the deal breaker. And of course, him and his company are using this to then turn around and sell, which is okay. But we know that even if, if you sell it to someone, who wants to live on a land that has those type of issues? And so this is just an excellent video of things that you can think of, that we can think of as we look for land, and then also just learning about these surveys and boundaries and the soil. That type of stuff is really important when looking for land. And it's similar even when looking for a building. You want to know all of that information as well. I know when it comes to our community, if we move into or we get purchased land in a secluded area such as this, you really have to know your neighbors. If you're using an easement that isn't necessarily used by you, like you mentioned in the first scenario, then whoever owns it, could literally, out of spite or racism, block you from accessing your property, period. And so there's so much to think about, but it's always good to get those notes of how important it is to check and double check. Like last week, we spoke about Arizona and having mineral rights to the land that you own, and how that could be a huge issue because someone else could own the minerals while you own the land, and then they can come and say, we're about to dig up and get our minerals. Just all types of problems. But you wouldn't know those things unless someone with experience shares it with you. So as we get off the line, we want to open the line and see if anyone has any input on some of these things, or if you all think that some of the points that he made were pretty good that we should consider. And also, I put the video in chat. So we will open the line if anyone wants to share any input. Okay.
This Shabbat. I just want to say, even though the house was in the middle of the road, doing another survey, and we could say take maybe 20 feet away from the house and do coverages on the road if the county, but we would have to check with the county and see if we can do that. An individual that own the house, how far out does his property line goes? If it's 20 feet out, then we take another 2 feet of the property that we own to separate his 20 feet from our road that we coming in, and put up a fence and have our road go along the fence line. That's one way to look at that. That's how you can see that. But some counties don't allow extra roads to be put in for depends on who own the house and who's in charge of that department. They may be relatives, and then they say, well, don't give them access because we want to get the property ourselves. It's just different things. That's why I chose that tape for everyone to see, so we could see some of the ins and outs that we would have to go through ahead of time before we go just buying, literally buying property. These are some of the things we must look into, and so much more. And a lot of, not a lot, all other tapes I sent, they're different ins and outs. They talk about different things. Some of the same things are said, but then explained in a different fashion. But it's dealing with being due diligence, doing your due diligence about the property and about the land. One of them I sent, I think the first one I sent in today's fact was a sister. She's she got a whole bunch of different takes, but the one I sent up front is beautiful. But on computer or your phone, you tap the button at the bottom. Different information about how to buy, put it on Zillow, and how to look on Zillow and different stuff like that, like the just did there, because a lot of these properties on Zillow, and they've been there a while, and you wonder if it's this good, it's been on there so long, something's wrong with the property. So you do your due diligence and research, and you realize what's a problem for somebody else may not be a problem for you, because you have the time, you're not working somewhere else, or you're not a retiree, and you have the money to put in or the time to put in to fix it up. So that's, way to look at it. But I'm set the mic down and allow someone else to chime in if they have, a chime in, or just do it on your own after we leave, or tonight, tomorrow, what have you. Just look into it. If you plan on participating in your own land or a unity land buy, we want to know everybody's opinion, because the more questions, the more eyes we have on it. Because one person may miss someone else may see it.
Yeah,
that's what we
for
want.
sure.
Okay, I get the mic back to you, sis.
Yes. Yeah, that's good teaching. Yeah, I'll put these videos in the WhatsApp so that everyone has them. And yeah, those are great videos to look at, especially even the one about the properties in the Bay, because we want to look into that as well. But there's so much knowledge and information that we can look into that, people have gone down these roads before, and they have useful information for us, so we don't have to reinvent the wheel and make those same mistakes. Yes, Sister Christine?
Yeah, I wanted to say, there was a email I got or something. It was about Texas, and it was what is it? The people that work on animals. What do you call those doctors? I'm sorry. Veterinarians. So there was a lot of scholarships that they were giving out for veterinarians. So I just wanted to say, but I noticed they were all white people that were getting them. And because they put their pictures up, there was maybe about 20 or so people, and they were all, so, if you're going to have a farm and stuff like that, veterinarians come at a premium price. So some of us need to, if they're interested in that, need to, or encourage our people to get out there and become a veterinarian, so that they can help the Black farmers.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay.
Yep, that's true. Yeah, next week I'm gonna look up that the Black farming family that's been being harassed. I'm gonna look them up. Next week we can look into what we can do. I know we're not near them, but how we can support them in their efforts, even signing petitions, anything that we can do, because they need support as well, because they are still being harassed. So yeah, so if anyone else has any input, then we are going to land this beautiful ship. We will be having our grant meeting tomorrow, 2 p.m. So prayerfully, everyone, if you're available to join, I will be sharing the link in the WhatsApp and sending to everyone, so you can join us there. There are some other grants that I think could fit some of the work that Brother Shabbat is doing, that Anti Africa Sister Francine is doing. So we can go over those tomorrow. And then we'll be back on the line next week. We have our music meetings on Mondays. So if anyone is interested in music, that meeting is on Monday. If you know anyone is interested in music, that meeting is on Monday. And we'll be back on the line next Tuesday. And so with that, family, we're going to land this beautiful ship and remain open in the name of the one true God. We know him by many names, and we thank him for coming to us through all times, for sending us his prophets. We thank him for Moses and the Torah, for Jesus and the gospel, for Prophet Muhammad and the Holy Quran. We thank him for sending liberators to prepare the way for his coming to us, like Noble Drew Ali, Marcus Garvey, all of the liberators who put their attention on our community. We can never thank him enough for coming in the person of Master Wallace Zafar Muhammad, raising his messenger, the glorious, most honorable Elijah Muhammad, their raising of their national representatives, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, and their return in and through their royal robe and remote control unit, and Surah Muhammad, the Select One, the Allah Master J-Man. And we're thankful for this program of BUCU and all of our amazing members. This is our year, and we pray that this year everything really kicks off and we can get into the brass tacks of the work that we're doing with our unity. And so with that, we'll see everyone tomorrow, and we will say assalamu alaikum, sajadalahu, Black unity, Black peace, and Black love. And we'll see you all tomorrow.
Yes, ma'am. Sajalu.
Assalamu alaikum.